Hi, this is Troy from the Do-It-Yourself World and the Off-Grid Project at Lowe's, and I have picked up my installation. This is insane. I've been here for an hour wrapping and binding my load here to try to get it on the car so I can take it home safely. I've literally stuffed the car. This is the floor insulation, rock wool insulation. It's mouse proof, it's supposed to be, and it's actually cheaper than styrofoam and better material. It's going to be an interesting ride home. Hope I make it. I'm going to have to take back roads on the way because that is a massive load. This is insane. So hope this works out. Hope the cops don't mess with me, and we'll see you over at the Off-Grid Homestead, hopefully. Well, I made it home safe. I only drove about 30-40 miles an hour, and everything made it literally intact. I can't believe it. Nothing shifted at all. The only thing happened was this was ripped a little bit. That was ripped because it was stuck on the pallet. I can't believe nothing shifted. Look at that. I drove 15 miles like this, and it made it. I was worried, I have to admit. I was quite worried. I did tie all the laces in and around each other all the way back and forth, intertwining everything so that there was no way they were going to come loose. This was a tight fit. How's that for a passenger in the vehicle? A big passenger. The back seat was taken up by just one pack. So that is the Roxol mineral wool insulation. It's a stiffer, more rigid insulation material, and it is made of mineral fibers instead of fiberglass. So it is a more green option, and it is supposed to be, it'll maintain its insulation properties when wet. And sorry, I don't know if the wind is blowing in this badly or not, but it'll maintain its insulation properties when wet, and it's supposed to be insect and mouse resistant, and just so much better, fire resistant, and better in many ways. So, well, here it is. I didn't think I was going to get it home, but it's good. So I'm going to cut those lines to release the pressure off my rubber seals on my door, on the windows. So it is 3 in the afternoon, and I'm just getting home. It was quite a trip. I was wrong. I was there at Lowe's for a couple hours, more than a couple hours, trying to wait for them to get that up there, and then I had to go all the way to the other end of the store to customer service to get my receipt, which took forever because there were 3 people in the way, and then go all the way back to the other end of the store and wait for the guy to come out with his stuff. And then found out there was no twine, so I had to go all the way back down to the other end of the store to find out there was no twine there, and then come all the way back to the other end of the store, back and forth. And then I remembered I needed wood glue for something, so I went back to the other end of the store again. It was I got my exercise today. Certainly got my exercise. Haven't started at all on the project on my tiny homes, but it's 3 o'clock. I can still get the flashing on here. But what worries me is once I do that, how am I going to cover this? I asked around if they had any throwaway tarps, which I know they do generally, but the guys that were there, that's a weekend, weren't aware of anything. They usually get throwaway materials that'll cover truck pallets, pallets on the trucks. And I've seen it out behind in the junk piles, but today it was a bad day to be asking. Weekends, there's not many people there, and they don't know really what's going on. Skeleton crew, I guess you'd call it. Well, I do want to make some progress on here, but I'm really afraid once I cover that, how am I gonna keep the rain out? I don't want to spend, well, I don't have another $100 to spend on the tarp until payday on the 24th. So I'm looking at other options and possibilities and trying to figure out how to do this. I don't know. I could layer the tarps I have. What I'm thinking about is crank the front up with the tongue up high, causing a downhill slope, and then layer my tarps starting at the front and layer them so that, or no, starting at the back, sorry, so that the rainwater would run downhill off of everything. I think that's going to be my best bet if I have enough tarps. Plastic sheeting, tarps, everything I can think of. I'll have to patch it all up together. But one advantage is if I get it all up here and get the flooring on, then it'll be easier to protect it all in one spot anyway. Because I'm worried about my flooring over here getting mildewy from the moisture on the ground. So I hope to get that off the ground right away. So this is to be dropped in to the floor. That rock stool is supposed to be dropped into the floor for my floor insulation once I get the sheeting on here. So I gotta go take a break and rehydrate. Oops, there's that word again, sorry. I'm gonna go take a break and have a drink, and I will get on my work clothes and get out here and get working. Well, this is a bad thing. My puffy Silky is out, and Silkies can't fly. Oh, my door is open. Oh no. Well, that's a problem. I'm gonna have to track down all my chickens. Silkies can't fly, so she jumped out. I'm gonna catch my puffer ball. I've got this bucket of nails from my backyard shopping mall. Actually, the landlady had said that I can use any hardware from the basement at any time I need. So there's some nails. Going to use that to attach the flashing to the bottom of my frame, and because there's not going to be so much stress on that, I don't think, and I'm going to be securing it with silicone as well. So I'm going to use roofing nails for that. Should be sufficient. If in the future I ever have a problem, I can always go under with screws, but I don't have the money for the screws right now for the flashing, and it was suggested to me to use roofing nails. Galvanized roofing nails would be fine for that. So I'm going to attempt to flip this over. I'm going to let you watch and laugh or cheer me on, whichever way it goes. It's not going to hit my workbench. Wasn't so bad. Just putting it back up is going to be a bit harder. It's going to have 60 more pounds on it when I'm done. So I had to do that. I planned this from the start because I want to put this flashing. Let me bring it over. I got this flashing. It's going on the bottom. It's pretty thick too. It's pretty rigid. So that's going on the bottom. It's going to cover, it's going to overlap up, over, and then down. So it's going to overlap the whole complete board all the way around. Now, caulking this is going to be a nightmare. I'm not sure how I'm going to do this. I'll probably have to, oh, I know how I'm going to do it. I'll use a piece of plywood and work my way back sitting on the plywood. But I'll be able to do that. It's going to be a job, but I'll be able to get it done. I want to caulk every gap and seal. Or I caulk as I put that down, I guess. No, because there's the overlap. I don't have enough caulk I was going to do that after the effect. I have to do that later, so I got to work with what I have. So anyway, I'm going to measure this out and get my gloves on and measure this out and start tacking it on. I have a problem. I wanted to check for square before I did this. These two corners are perfect, which is good. I figured since it's on the ground it might warp. These corners are square. These corners are not. Because when I threw it on the ground, it bent out of square. So, I've got a problem. I could put it back up on the trailer where it's flat and level, put the flashing on, tip the thing back down, but it's going to be harder to do it alone. Working out here on a building alone is hard. This is way, way, way off square. And it doesn't want to stay square. It's on a slope. This is annoying. I can probably try to slide it on there, but then I'm going to scratch up my paint as well. I can get it on there. I can put my flashing on. And then I guess I'll have to have help to get it off. Flip it over and back on next time. I don't know. I guess that's the best way to do it. Put it back on the trailer where it's flat. There's no flat surface out here to work on. And you can't build a square building without a flat surface. I don't want to ruin everything. So, here we go. It's going to be fun. Without trying to wreck this frame. I can get it on there and I can try to square it up. Yeah, this seems heavier now that it's on the ground. It's going to be even heavier yet with the flashing on it. I don't know how I'm going to do this. I don't know how I'm going to do this. I know somebody out there is probably having fits right now. Probably sees an easy way. I'm going to lost my square. Yeah, it's terrible. I can't do it. I can't do it on the ground. No way. And it looks like rain is coming again, which isn't supposed to be. Oh, I'm afraid I'm going to get wet again. Put this up on the trailer and get it squared off. And put my flashing on. And figure out how to do the rest from there. At least I'll have a square building. It's more important. Talk about a cantilever. Well, I'm not going to bore you with this. I'm just going to square this up on the frame before I get working. I've got a serious problem. I've been struggling with this for a while. This end is perfectly square. This end is perfectly square. The next boards are perfectly square. But there's a bow inwards on the back third of this board, which throws off my square in that end. I don't know how to pull it out. Not sitting out here. I don't know what to do. That throws off my square. My whole house is going to be warped if I can't get that bow out of that wood. And with rain coming again, this is annoying. It wasn't supposed to rain today. Actually, I just checked the weather report again and it's showing no rain. But that's rain coming. That's rain. So I've got to figure this out. If I get the aluminum on there, I can leave it upside down and the aluminum will help protect the floor. I can leave it like that, but this back end is bowed. I can do the front, the square boards, but I don't know how I'm going to get that square on the back section where it's bowed. I don't know how I'm going to do this. I know there's a way. If you have boards, you can probably try to force it somehow, but I don't know what to do. Problem is, by the time you guys see this and give me advice, I'll have had to have figured it out on my own, because I've got to get this done and covered before it rains. Well, the front section is square, perfectly square. Idea is to get this covered. It's probably gonna flap out. Knife. Hope this doesn't fly open when I cut it. No, it's not going to be a problem. Good. No. That didn't work. I need help. is fun. It's like it's alive and attaching to everything. This is not how I thought this was going to work. I have to tack it along the edge. The idea now, I'm very tempted to pause the camera and struggle with this off camera, but what I want to do is show you how it is. So you're going to see all my errors and all my struggles and hopefully all my solutions. Hopefully you won't see rain on my party. It's getting dark. Use a smaller one. Hoping maybe that'll help support that in the middle. And we'll see. You can't see what I'm doing. Boy, this stuff is like it's alive. I can't believe it. I did not expect this. Not expect this at all. I thought I'd roll it out. It's doing everything but what I want it to do. Crazy. I had no idea. Really crazy with lightning. No idea. Clamp. See, what I want to do is overlap over the top. I'd like to wear gloves, but the problem is you lose your fine control with gloves on. I'm going to pause the camera and grab 2 more of these. It's getting darker and darker. Forecast is for sunny weather, but it sure doesn't look like it. Does not look good at all, which worries me. Slippery stuff. Once I put the end nails in though, it's going to be stuck. However it is how it's going to be. That's why we're going to try to get this straight along the edge. It's not how I had foreseen this working out. Now later, I'm going to come back around that edge, around the corner, and caulk and seal, and overlap a piece there, and caulk and seal all the seams as they go. I'm also going to have to double check my square in a minute here. Alright, I'm going to recheck my square before I continue on. I'm going to shut off the camera for a minute. Here's something that you don't see on a tiny home builder's sites. This stuff is a nightmare. Alive, and it isn't coming on square no matter how hard I tried. I'm going to have to undo the end and try to go along this edge and redo that. It is not going on square somehow. It's fighting me all the way. Really tough to deal with. So I was trying to go perfect on the edge here, but because this thing is shifting and flowing on me, it's not going to work that way. I'm going to have to go with this edge and then tack that down and deal with any overlap or waste. I was trying to avoid any waste, but it isn't going to happen. So I got to peel that back up. Second attempt, easier way to do it. Leave it hanging out, run it along the edge and get it down square. Gonna run it down this line, good and square. So I'm just gonna finish nailing it on all the way along. So it takes me half a day to get one sheet. Fun. When I do the edge, I'm definitely going to get angled aluminum for that. There's no other way. I'm not going to be able to form that myself. Well, I just cut off the end. I'm going to bring this side across as tight as I can. Nail it on over here. Once I get that sheet on, it's going to be firming up my boards so I won't lose my square. At least on this end. I don't know what to do about that bowed out area over there yet though, but this side's gonna be good. I'm going to continue down the side. It's going to be quite a job. I didn't think it would be this big of a job. Well, sorry about not recording, but you won't believe this. Remember, I was struggling so hard with this and saying there's no way I can do it alone. Now this piece is just sitting here. I've got the wheel wells open for now. The wheel wells will be boxed in from above. Now these are upside down. These are still upside down because it's going to rain. But remember, I was just saying I can't do this. I can't do this alone. And suddenly along comes my friend from church and says, oh, would you like some help? I mean, what's the chance? And so we just knocked this out together, the whole thing. He actually came over to get some twigs that were down to use for his garden and saw me struggling, and we did it. The aluminum flashing is on the whole bottom of the trailer. We did it. I couldn't have done it alone. That stuff, you saw it on video. It was really getting the better of me. It was really rough. With two of us, it was a bit of a fight. And once we got a system down, the second half of the trailer went pretty easy. That looks pretty massive right now. Even he said, well, it's going to be a nice sized house. So, literally the two halves are just resting here upside down because we're going to have rain tonight, rain tomorrow. So I'm going to have to put up my tarps on here to protect them overnight. And then they're going to stay that way for a while until well, at least a couple days, because it's supposed to rain again possibly Monday. Whenever day it isn't going to rain, I'll have to get help. Literally, I'm going to have to get help and flip these over and then position them where they're going to stay, and then tie them down to the frame the way they're going to be, and then I'll put in my insulation and my plywood flooring. Now, there's gaps, there are seams, and what I'm going to do is run aluminum tape along the seams. On every seam, I've got some aluminum tape that I'm going to run across them, and that'll seal them. Now, I didn't fold down the ends either. I'll probably do that after I turn this around, because, or maybe after, well anyway, I still want to run 3 screws in each of the floor joists from the end, just for extra added strength. I'm going to run the 3 screws in each one. I know it might be overkill, it might be a bit unnecessary, but I'm going to do it. Oh, sorry, I gotta sit a minute. Now, nothing is here is very level anymore because we were jumping all over and down, up and down on this, but oh wow, I guess I want to take a break for now. It's 7 o'clock in the evening, but feels good to have it done because I would not have got it alone. Just no way I was going to do it alone. So there it is. My tiny house is coming together. My house on wheels. And this has, as far as I can tell, never been done before but once. One man ever built a tiny house on a camper frame with 10-foot width. Only one other person did it. And I will be the second ever. But the difference with me and him is his websites are gone. There's no trace of anything he ever did. So he finished his house, so it didn't collapse on him, so I know it can be done. And he used heavier materials on a camper frame, just like mine. So anyway, I know it can be done. That's it though. Sorry I didn't get to record, but he didn't want to be on video, and but I'm very happy we got it. Oh, a tree just came down in the forest. So yeah, I think I'm pretty much done for the night. Throw my tarps on here after a break and call it a night.